Yeah.
Starters for the Roosevelt.
Channel 12 Sports presents coverage of high school football. Tonight, a matchup between two teams looking for their first wins of the season. The Minneapolis Roosevelt Teddies and the Brooklyn Center Centaurs. Hello and welcome to Brooklyn Center High School. John Jacobson, along with Bill Hunstock and Allie Arlt on a beautiful sunny Friday in September. And Bill, each of these teams I mentioned looking for win number one, and I think both coaches feel, hey, we've got a shot tonight.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest types of games to evaluate prior to kickoff because you really don't know the strengths of either team. You kind of know their weaknesses because they gave up more points than they scored, and they're 0-4 between the two of them. And both coaches, both staffs, and all the kids are really optimistic. They're all thinking, hey, this is us tonight. And again, so that makes it hard to evaluate what are you going to look for. Both teams have struggled with offense and defense, but both teams feel confident that their offense is capable of moving the ball and that their defense can hang in there for a while until they get a feel for the game.
Roosevelt with losses on the season to Minneapolis South and St. Agnes, and Brooklyn Center season week one opener lost to Fridley, and then Minneapolis North in week two has got a terrific ball club. But maybe Coach Finley talks about their effort against North, said it was a closer game than the final score would indicate. We were there for a while, which North's got some great athletes. I think that's a good test for them. And tonight, a team that has some good athletes, but certainly not the number that North has that they play.
Yeah, they certainly, Roosevelt certainly is going to present a totally different set of circumstances than North did. North, as you said, John, very athletic, a lot of really good football players on that team. Roosevelt is in a rebuilding situation still. They had shut their program down a couple of years ago, 2012, and talking to their coaching staff, they really feel like they're coming around now. This is their first year to really come out of their shell for the first time in several years. So they're looking to make this as a step, and they're saying we're building the program one step at a time, and this is the first step along the way.
Brooklyn Center 4 wins a year ago. They look to win their home opener tonight against Roosevelt. We'll take a break and come back with a kickoff of tonight's game. Minneapolis Roosevelt, Brooklyn Center High School football next on 12 Sports.
30 million Americans will suffer from an eating disorder at some point in their lives. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Hi, I work at the NEDA helpline. We have something called Click to Chat, which is a live chat with someone on the helpline, and they're really able to get support.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
We are back at Brooklyn Center High School. It's gone out of the sideline for our pregame continuing. And Allie Arlt.
Thanks, guys. Both teams are looking for their first win here tonight, and under conditions that could prove to be a little bit challenging. Both teams have to stay hydrated for this game. Coach Eugene of Roosevelt told me that through the first two games of this season, his team has really struggled with cramping, and this will wear an already small roster very thin. He said that his team has to stay hydrated so that they can keep all players on the field throughout this game. Now, Coach Finley of Brooklyn Center, he said that he had his guys indoors practicing, doing walkthroughs, doing their warm-ups to stay cool as long as possible. While both teams have to fight hydration, both coaches say that this game is an even matchup. It should be a good one, even though it's warm. Back to you.
Thanks, Allie. And Bill, in talking to Coach Eugene, I asked him about injuries. He said, we've been healthy so far, which, when you get a smaller roster, you worry about that early in the season. We've seen that already here in the Twin Cities Metro this year. One of the teams in St. Paul having to drop a game or games potentially because of injuries and small roster size, small squad size.
Yeah, and we've seen consolidation of programs with 3 of the private schools in the metro area, and those kind of things have presented challenges to every coaching staff. Even with the big schools, their numbers, are down. So what's the difference between having 120 and 100? Well, that's not as bad. But if you're dropping down into under 40 players on your roster, that is a real challenge for a coaching staff to keep kids healthy and able to play.
Roosevelt and the white and maroon, they will kick off. It is Daniel Barbosa, senior, who will kick. Charles Wiley and Rufus Menden back deep for BC. And this will go into the end zone and the touchback. And Brooklyn Center will start its first possession tonight, 1st and 10 from its 20-yard line. Brooklyn
nice
Center with
kickoff.
some, it was a good kickoff. So with a number of players back, but they lost some good skill position, some players from a year ago, which hurt them. So their offense perhaps will have to take a little longer to gel this season. They had Tyler Beasley, Jason Bartos, who both on to play college football now, and so it's up to Chester Whaley and the Centaurs offense to get things going started here in week 3. He's under center. Out of the eye on 1st down and 10. They fake the handoff, play action. Whaley going deep on the first play of the game, and incomplete, and flags come down. The intended receiver, Charles Wiley, going up for it. And it looks like we likely have a pass interference based on the contact we saw there. And Wiley, ball is, they're going to say it's tipped, so there'll be no interference. So if the ball's tipped, contact allowed, they pick up the flag, Bill, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, I think that's a pretty good call. Don't know, it was tipped right there at the release point. Consequently, a little bit underthrown. And all the receiver didn't have to jump for that. All he had to do is keep running. The ball would have been right there.
2nd down and 10 for BC. Whaley will pitch it back. Left side, and a run out to the 18-yard line. First carry tonight for Enrique Mihai Canales. And he picks up a little bit. No, and they're going to mark him down at the 19. Excuse me, loss of 1.
Coach Finley feels that his better players and his better athletes are on the edge, on the flank of the formation, receivers and runners. So look to get the ball in those directions.
Whaley throws, gets a completion out to the 25, they get the 26-yard line, and a gain of 7 on the catch by the Valle de War. But it's going to be short of the 1st down. They do pick up 7. It'll be 4th and 4, and BC will have to punt. Good high punt away. This will be fielded. Nope, they can let it go, and BC will down it at the 45. Hussein thought about fielding it, thought better of it, and works out well for the Teddies. It took a Roosevelt bounce. It'll be 1st and 10. Roosevelt, good position. Bill will be at their 45 as Elijah Hanna Jr. comes out. Here you see his numbers through the first couple of games this season. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 19 attempts.
And I think we'll see more of a running game from Roosevelt than we will a passing game, although, pretty decent passing numbers for a young quarterback here.
In motion comes Gundy. Inside handoff and a push out to the 48-yard line, and a gain of 3. BC saying there's a fumble. And it looks like the Centaurs did come up with it. And they turn Roosevelt over on their first offensive play of the game.
Yeah, it looked like it was a
not a bad way to start the game with a fairly conservative play, but somebody gets a hand and a shoulder right on the football there, and it pops loose from fullback Reed Gunderson. You see the ball popping loose right there and covered by the Centaurs.
I think it was Ricky Dunbar that got on it defensively for BC. So an early turnover for Roosevelt. Whaley back to work. Throw, a completion, a gain of 2 to the 45.
So far, two pretty good throws by quarterback Whaley. We see a nice ball right on the money and well played by Gundy, the defensive back for Roosevelt, to keep that at a short gain.
On the run, Rufus Menden. No gain, a couple of yards to the 43-yard line. Gain of 2 to bring up third down and a long 6.
And BC using a no-huddle offense, so they're calling their plays at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, that this is really good. I like the no-huddle offense to change the tempo of the game.
Menden slips as he's tried to make his cut back to the middle of the field, and he loses 4. Back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down and 10. And the Centaurs will have to punt for a second time. You can see him trying to cut back up inside, Bill, but couldn't get his
couldn't get his wheels underneath him there, and that's too bad. That was looking to be fairly well set up for the Centaur offense.
So the second punt of the quarter, and this will roll toward the sideline and out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Danny Tukar, his second punt. He does a good job getting it 32 yards, and more importantly, Bill, no return. So Roosevelt this time pinned at their 15-yard line.
Absolutely, and that's a good turnover of the field. Starting with the opening play at their own 20, now their defense is playing inside the 20 of Roosevelt, and that's exactly what you want to do. If to get the rhythm of the game, you want to control the field position and try to play your offense as much as you can in the bad guys' zone.
Hannah, long count, gets a little swing pass out to the right, completion, some room on the outside. First down and more for Gundy. Ron Gundy able to get the ball out past the 30-yard line, all the way out to the 37. They'll mark it. And a gain of 22 for Roosevelt. Oh, there is a flag down. I saw the and get a holding on Roosevelt. I noticed the first down markers hadn't moved yet, but hadn't seen the flag. And so Roosevelt with a couple of tough plays so far.
Now that's a tough penalty for Roosevelt, for the Teddies, because that was really a well executed outside screen, and the outside receiver gets called for the hold.
It's a spot foul. It's 1st and 13 back at the 12. Hannah handing off, ball is on the ground, and the Centaurs recover at the 9-yard line. Recovered by Brendan Houghton, the senior, and gets the Centaurs in good field position.
The second turnover for second possession for the Teddies, and not taking care of the rock very well here. That was not quite sure what was the intention, but that was a rather weak ball handling and weak communication with the football by both the fullback and the quarterback. We'll put that one on the quarterback a little bit, because he should know more about what he's doing with it.
On first down and goal from the 10-yard line, inside give down to the 7, a 3-yard pickup for Menden, his 3rd carry. And second down and goal for BC from there. Centaurs with a chance to score here on the opening quarter. Now the 7:40 and county. Now from the shotgun. Goes back to Mendon, cuts it back, gets to the 5-yard line, lunging forward to get the football just inside the 5. Picks up 2, almost 3 yards. And it'll be third and goal, but Mill initially looked like he might be stopped for a loss there.
Absolutely.
Does a nice job. He got a good block on the outside as Tyler Miller was able to hold his guy and allow Mendon to get back inside.
Yeah, Mendon makes a nice right-hand turn there and gets what there is and gets him at least a doable third and goal from the 5.
On third down, it's the quarterback keeping, getting a couple of yards. Whaley gets it down to the 3-yard line. It'll be fourth down and goal there.
Don't know anything about the kicking abilities of either of these teams, but my assumption would be if you've scored 1 touchdown in 2 games and you're fourth and goal at the 5, you're going to do something. You're going to do something to try to get that touchdown.
Well, BC is going to talk about it. They had brought Tukar on to try a field goal, but now they will talk about it on fourth down and goal from the 5. You see Willie Finley, middle of your screen on the right there, the third-year head coach of Brooklyn Center. Struggled 2 years ago, but got to 4 wins, as I mentioned last year. 4 and 6 a year ago for the Centaurs. 0-2 start, but when you look down the schedule, and including tonight, you see some definite possibilities for wins for Brooklyn Center this season. There's a good look at Coach Finley.
He's a very optimistic guy. Every time we've ever talked with him, he's, things are looking up. We got things going. Where, he's pleased with his kids. I think whenever you're trying to rebuild a program and bring a program together, optimism is a huge advantage.
Tukar on for field goal try. 21-yard attempt. It off the right upright and not good. And we remain scoreless, and Roosevelt will get the ball at the 20. The short approach, a couple steps. Line drive was high enough, but just off the upright, and so we stayed 0-0. Roosevelt will take over at its 20-yard line, and Teddy's in some ways fortunate, Bill. They haven't given up any point yet. 2 fumbles in their own territory. Had that long penalty on the pass play that was going to go for big yards, and
they've only run 3 or 4 offensive plays, so they haven't got any feel for the game yet. And yet their defense has somehow managed to keep BC off the board.
Anna will drop back to pass, has some protection, throws, gets a completion out across the 30. Struggling for yards, getting some help from his teammate again is Tyreek Strickling. Strickling Jr. with the catch, and Roosevelt has its first down of the game. Good catch, good throw.
Yeah.
And then watch Gundy help pull his teammate a couple extra yards.
That's
I like that.
The help is always needed. But I'm impressed with Hannah's throwing. He's put the ball on the money both times he's thrown, and he's hit receivers and done a good job. Something that they can work on there.
First and 10. Teddy's from the 33. Gundy coming in motion. Flag whistled. Mark Reamer is our referee tonight. Offsides on Brooklyn Center. First penalty on BC tonight makes it 1st and 5. Roosevelt from its 38.
And so Roosevelt has gotten the ball out a little bit from where they started, and this gives you a little bit more latitude in your play calling.
And Gundy breaking a tackle, gets outside 45-50, and Gundy into Brooklyn Center territory at the 46-yard line. A gain of 16 yards.
And a nice block right there at the point of attack by Reed Gunderson, the fullback, to give Gundy the seam. And you can see that he's obviously their speed guy. He gets a seam and gets a step, and he goes pretty well. If it wasn't for the strength of his jersey, he might have had a touchdown on that one.
Their leading rusher through the first 2 games. His first carry tonight, and they're in Brooklyn Center territory. Gunderson, the ball carrier. That's a couple of yards down to the Brooklyn Center 44. We'll call it 2.
And Gunderson does a nice job. He's going to be their inside guy. He's a fullback and linebacker, kind of a classic dual position type of guy. 5'9", 175, 180 pounds. Pretty compact, strong legs. He's a guy that keeps the inside linebackers at home so that Gundy can hit the edge.
Trickling in motion, and it'll be Hannah keeping. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, falls forward and bounces off that would-be tackler and gets down to the Brooklyn Center 38. It'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. Bill, a good effort by him. He looked like he was going to be stopped for no gain right there. And he keeps going. 2 guys on him. Strong young man, able to make a nice gain of 6 yards.
That was a nice form hit. That was a nice hit, and you can see his head pop straight up, and that's a sign of a good hit right to the middle of the body. But you got to wrap up. You got to get your arms around the man to bring him down. He bounced off and gets a pretty nice gain.
3rd and 2 from the Centaurs 38. Quick toss right side to go to Gundy again. Has a first down inside the 35 to 33-yard line. And that's another Roosevelt first down.
And again, we see Hannah gets the ball out on one-step pass. Pretty nicely done. Nice block out there on the flank by number 15, Marquand Burton. Getting a block on the corner to give Gundy a little bit of room. Gundy's kind of their all-around back. He's a running back, a receiver, and does a nice job catching the ball.
Fresh set of downs for the Teddies. I'll give to Strickling, who would come in motion, and he gets forward to the 31-yard line. Gain of just 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Tackle on the play by Gabor. But Roosevelt getting a lot of guys involved offensively, Bill, both running and the passing game on this drive.
Yeah, they are, and they're spreading the ball, like you said, they're spreading the ball around. They're getting fairly good play out of their offensive line. Pretty good positioning and pretty good leg drive.
Hannah keeps. It's got a first down, fumbled the football. They dive for it down at the 15, still scrambling. And I think Roosevelt is able to get it back. Yes, Gundy got on it. Ron Gundy helping out his quarterback there after Hannah had picked up a first down, and the ball pops loose. Look at Hannah again. Nice cut there. Ball knocked out. Gundy gets on it there for Roosevelt. So a break for the Teddies after they had fumbled the ball away twice this time in this quarter. Now have it 1st and 10 at the 15 after a gain of 17.
And Elijah Hannah's got to remember to keep that ball high and tight when he's running. You get the ball away from your body, any flailing arm or something's going to knock the ball right away from you.
Hannah looking to throw, a little fade in the corner, touchdown, Roosevelt. They get on the board first, 15-yard touchdown to Teray Graves. And Roosevelt leads 6-0.
I think Elijah Hannah's done a nice job throwing the ball. That was a nicely placed pass. You know, Graves had to go up to get it, and that meant that the D-back, the corner, didn't have really much of a chance. He was fairly well, Graves was pretty well covered, but he was able to get up and make the catch.
Barbosa for the extra point is up, and he missed it. And so it remains 6-0. Roosevelt, after a long drive by Roosevelt, started back at their 20-yard line. There's the touchdown pass again.
Yeah, and you can see that Graves has a nice height advantage over the defender, Ricky Dunbar. Graves at 6'1", able to get up and make the play. Dunbar didn't play that poorly. It's just that, you know, guy can go up and get the ball and you can't. That's a tough row.
So Roosevelt taking the early lead.
And just that quickly, the field position changed. You know, we saw as that drive continued, Roosevelt's offensive lineman played with a little more confidence. We'll see how this plays out for their defense now. If they come out and play equally hard, going to put a challenge out to the Centaurs here.
Kickoff fielded by BC at the 9-yard line. And then getting outside and spun down at the 30-yard line. So pretty good return by Rufus Menden of 22 yards. There is a flag down during the return, and often a spot where you see an illegal block and holding in this case going against Brooklyn Center.
Here we see pretty nice run back. But somebody got shoved in the back about 5 yards from 5-6 yards from where the play was made. Fairly common. We're pretty well aware that it's a fairly common call on a kickoff or a punt return, that somebody gets turned and the guy intending to block ends up hitting somebody in the back because the guy turned right at the last second, and that happens way too often.
So BC pushed back to the 11 after the return had got them briefly to the 31-yard line. Looking right, throwing back to his left. Whaley, completion out to the 15-yard line. Third catch tonight for Gabor. Another flag down though. And illegal shift on BC this time. So they're flagged for the third time here in the first quarter.
That's again, those are tough penalties. Yeah, a team who is struggling with their offense, hasn't scored much in their first two games. You know, to beat yourself up with penalties like that is, you know, motion penalties, shifting penalties. You know, that's just concentration, and the guys have to be able to handle it, and that puts them into a 1st and 15 now. So there's, you know, you dig yourself a hole, now you're inside your own 10-yard line.
Menden in the back behind Whaley out of the shotgun, standing at his 2. Throws over the middle, completion out to the 12-yard line. Catch made by Sam Duncan, his first catch tonight. And Bill, a good play. It picks up 7 yards.
Absolutely nice catch by Duncan to get 7 yards back.
Second down throw almost picked off. Whaley's pass knocked down by Naguma Muhammad. That was almost an interception right there. Hit him right between the six.
There you go. Yeah, that's really the first really bad pass that Chester Whaley's had today. He's been pretty much right on the money, and the defender really stepped into the throwing lane just as that ball was being released, but that would have been a nice pick for Roosevelt. Lucky for the Centaurs that it dropped to the floor.
So on 3rd down and 8, Whaley throwing and incomplete, and let his receiver nice and just off the hands. Miller, and it's incomplete. Look at it again. Got a nice little air under it, Bill.
Yeah.
2 receivers right in the area, and Miller trying to stretch out for it and just couldn't make the catch, but a good effort by the sophomore. Center.
And Tyler Miller just couldn't quite corral it, but he did the right thing by running and trying to accelerate to the ball. That gives you a little bit of separation. I'm not quite sure why we had 2 receivers in the same zone there. If you don't, there's one less defender there.
Car punting, it rolls sideways at the 46 and out of bounds there. Kick of 31 yards. Roosevelt, though, will take over, Bill, in Brooklyn Center territory here late in the first quarter, leading 6-0.
Yeah, Tukar's punts have not been picture perfect, but when you get a net 0 return, your net punting yard is pretty decent, and you keep the ball out of the hands of somebody like Warren Gundy. It does give your defense a little bit of an advantage, although the ball is inside Centaur territory now.
Gunderson and Gundy, the backs behind Hannah on 1st down and 10. They'll give to Gundy the tailback to the 45 to the 44-yard line. Gain of a couple. Tackle made by Thomas Mason, senior. Gain of 2.
And that's very similar to the play that they ran on the last series that got him a pretty good gainer. And this time the linebacker was able to step up, even though Gunderson made a pretty good block.
Officials take a timeout here with just under a minute to play. Here we get Roosevelt taking a timeout.
The referee signaled it's his timeout. I think this is one of those hydration timeouts. We got a warm, humid night, and they want to make sure the players get plenty of water, get a break. So it's at the discretion of the referee.
Top of your screen on the right is Junior Eugene, who's the head coach for Roosevelt, 4th-year head coach, and is really helping, trying to build this program back up. You mentioned Bill, unable to field the varsity team just a few years ago, and he, with the help of some good assistants, starting to get the numbers back up for Roosevelt football.
Yeah, they were, at like 25 a couple of years ago, and they're back up over 40 right now. So that's takes some time. And one of the new assistant coaches at Roosevelt is a good friend of mine, Mike Grant, and he was telling me before the game what they're doing to try to get the program back on track, and the high school enrollment is up by a pretty good margin this year. So Roosevelt appears to be on the comeback trail. See where their athletic programs go.
2nd down and 8. In motion comes Stricking, the handoff to Gunderson. Fullback will gain a couple of yards to the 43 to bring up 3rd down, and still 6 to go.
Yeah, it was pretty nice defense. One of the defensive linemen came right down the line of scrimmage and made a nice play. With those black on purple numbers, John, I'm having a hard time seeing it.
It was
Whaley. I thought
it
was a pretty good sized body that made that play. It was Chester Whaley, who is at 6'4", 220 pounds, a pretty good sized kid.
3rd down and a long 6 for Roosevelt. Hannah airing it out on the left side, bobbled and incomplete. Good defensive coverage downfield by Charles Wiley. Hannah going for the big throw and almost caught, but a good defensive effort Quan Burton was the intended receiver, but again, good defense by Wiley to force Roosevelt into a 4th down play here. Let's see what they do.
You don't see too many guys doubling up position-wise as quarterback and defensive tackle. Unique combination for Chester Whaley there.
So they will go for it. Roosevelt will here on 4th down and 6. That's Gundy in motion. The pitch goes back to Gundy, corralling the football. Gets to the 40, breaks the tackle down to the 35, and has a 1st down for the Teddies. Big play by Gundy, a gain of 9, and Roosevelt keeps the drive alive.
Yeah, Gundy bobbles that pitch a little bit, but you can see he's got the speed that once he gets to the flank and he can turn the corner, he's going to be gone. You know, that was just pure speed right there by Oren Gundy that made that play.
One play left in the quarter as you see the time left. First and 10, and Roosevelt looking to put more points on the board here. The handoff. And inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. And a good 1st down run that time by Tariq Strickling. Gets Roosevelt 5 yards, and that'll be the end of the 1st quarter. We will take a break. Our score, Minneapolis Roosevelt 6, Brooklyn Center nothing. We're back with more high school football on 12 Sports after this timeout.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think.
Billy? Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
With Bill Hunstock and Allie Arlt, I'm John Jacobson. Welcome back to Brooklyn Center High School. We start the 2nd quarter. Roosevelt leading 6-0. They've got a 2nd down. And 6 to go. Here is first handoff of the quarter. Gains them a couple of yards down to the 27-yard line. And the first carry tonight for Bernard Dixon, senior fullback.
A short gain by Dixon. Roosevelt staying pretty basic with their offense. They run inside, hit the flank, run inside, hit the flank, throw the ball to the flank. They're not doing anything particularly fancy, particularly tricky. Just wanting to handle the ball well.
Quick throw out to Gundy. Centaurs wrap up well. And he won't get much, Bill.
No.
Diagnosed immediately by Dylan Gibson. He's one of the starting linebackers for the Centaurs, and Gibson, with help from others, wrapping up for maybe half a yard, but that's it.
Yeah, and that's the first time that the Centaur defense has really corralled Gundy after he's caught the ball. Another good throw from Hannah. I'm impressed with Hannah's throwing, but in fact both quarterbacks have thrown the ball well. But 2nd, 4th down for Roosevelt to try to convert and keep this drive going.
4th down and 5 from the BC 27. Fake the handoff under pressure and going down for a sack back at the 34. Brooklyn Center turning it over. Brendan Houghton with a fumble recover early. Gets a sack here on Hannah, and Brooklyn Center will get the ball at the 34. Loss of 7.
That's a big defensive play for the Centaurs to get a sack on 4th down like that. A play for a loss. is huge, especially after they've driven the ball and gotten a couple of first downs on you and have scored already. And now you've given your offense a little bit of hope. You've given them a little bit of field position, and that's really the third turnover tonight for the BC defense.
First down give, and a gain only out to the 35 for about a yard and a half for Menden. He's gotten the bulk of the carries so far tonight for Brooklyn Center, his 5th out of the 7 rushes that they've had. Gain of just 1. It'll be second down and 9. Look at the Centaur cheerleaders. We're out in full force tonight, cheering on Brooklyn Center. I mentioned the home opener tonight for BC after road games against Fridley and North. Second down from the 35. Whaley back into the shotgun. Centaurs trying to avoid a third down and long. They'll go deep with the pass, and it's going to be overthrown. And it will be third and long. Wiley, the intended receiver.
Yeah, there was some level of miscommunication on the pattern or the route between the receiver and the quarterback, because Whaley threw that ball deep to the outside, and the receiver was caught up at about the hash mark and really not able to get in the right direction to get the football. So that just tells me that there was something that didn't happen the way it was supposed to.
So on third down and long, Whaley throw and is tipped and picked off by Strickling. Able to hang on to it, got it back toward midfield and then brought down. Tackled at the 47 by Wiley, but Tariq Strickling gets the pick for Roosevelt, and they turn BC over for the first time.
Yeah, Tariq Strickling does a nice job of playing tip drill right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, after 3 tips, I'll get it. Volleyball got nothing on me.
Whaley had a player open. Duncan was a little bit behind Strickling, but Strickling catching up with the ball that was a little bit shy of the target and makes a nice pick. So gets the ball back for the Teddies. First down and 10. Roosevelt from its 47. Hannah throws left side. Good first down gain. It'll be a first down. Graves with the catch. His first tonight, second target tonight, and Graves.
That's Graves' second catch because he caught the touchdown pass earlier. But he's done a nice job. He's a nice sized receiver out there on the flank or coming up the seam from a tight end spot. He plays both tight end and they flex him out. And he's at 6'1", 6'2", he's a pretty good sized receiver in that secondary.
This looks like it'll go against Roosevelt.
Maybe not. Roosevelt players are clapping, so it looks like they're going to have an offside or an encroachment. Dead ball. Encroachment. Yep. A nice break for Roosevelt. Tough call for BC.
From the 37 on first down and 5. Big hole up the middle. And Gundy's going to go for a touchdown. 37 yards. And Roosevelt leads 12-0. Ron Gundy with the score. And a 2-score lead now for Roosevelt. Nice run by Ron Gundy.
Yeah, got a nice lead block again. I think that was Gunderson again. Either Gunderson or Bernard Dixon at the fullback spot, making the block and springing Gundy loose. And Gundy's got good speed. He outran everybody in the secondary to the end zone. Now the problem that we'll let the try come out here, but there's a problem developing for BC here.
I'll go for 2. Ball tipped in the air and it'll be incomplete, and we'll stay at 12-0.
Here we'll take a look at the replay on the touchdown. Good blocking by the offensive line, particularly the right side of the line, and by Reed Gunderson to get Gundy right into the secondary. And you can see the good speed that he has. He gets by the first guy and he's gone. But the problem developing now for BC is that they haven't played that poorly, but they've had 2, actually 3 turnovers that they haven't really been able to capitalize on. They've given up 2 touchdowns on pretty good drives, but now they're, you know, in the kids' mind, in the players' mind, you don't want to have that, oh, here we go again. You know, once you've started and lost a couple of games in a row, that's the worry for the coaching staff, is we don't want the kids to think, oh, here we go again. Roosevelt's coaches, on the other hand, are saying, keep sticking it to them, get their mindset so that they're starting to play with a little bit less enthusiasm, and we'll roll this thing up.
12-0 Roosevelt. 8:40 remaining in the first half. Third kickoff of the night coming for Barbosa. Kick away, the bounce a couple of times will be picked up at the 21, and then a great downfield tackle by Bernard Dixon.
Boy, Bernard Dixon really does a nice job of getting downfield, avoiding a block, and making a nice one-on-one open field tackle on Mejia.
Mejia Canales on the return, but you saw a great job by Bernard Dixon. And so Brooklyn Center, just a 6-yard return on the kickoff, and take it over 1st and 10 from their 27.
And this is where Coach Finley will say, you know, that we're not out of the game here. This is, you know, this is doable. We've got to make some things happen here.
Gabor lining up this time at the quarterback spot, and he's got a good first down run, and it's a Centaur first down out to the 39-yard line. Their first down tonight.
A little bit of a wildcat look there with Gabor stepping in at the quarterback spot, getting a nice run.
So Gabor getting Brooklyn Center out to the 40 on a gain of 13. Stays in that spot. This time he'll hand the ball off inside give out to the 43. Ball comes loose. They're going to say the runner is down.
Yep.
A gain of a couple on that play on the run by Menden, and it'll be 2nd and 8, maybe 7.
So in this offensive set, they've moved starting quarterback Chester Whaley into a slot H-back type of a position, and Gabor into the quarterback spot.
We get an offside, I think, on Roosevelt here.
I think that's exactly what it is. Yep. Neutral zone infraction. What happened was the offensive lineman is allowed to, if the neutral zone is penetrated, the offensive lineman is allowed to move to protect himself. He doesn't have to just sit there and take a whomping if that neutral zone is violated. So what can look sometimes like a procedure penalty is actually an encroachment penalty.
On 2nd down and 2, the throw, and Gore's pass intended for Wiley, but he slipped and goes down, goes an incompletion, third down. That's a type of play you worry about, Bill. If the D-back's in the right spot, that could go for a touchdown the other way.
And again, there was a little bit of miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver because the ball was thrown outside into the flat and the receiver was breaking on a skinny post.
Third and 2 for Gabor in the Centaur offense. Low snap. Moore picking it up, gets a first down. 45, breaks a tackle inside the Roosevelt 40 and down to the 38-yard line for a pickup of 14.
It was a really low snap, and Gabor was lucky that he wasn't whistled dead. His knee did go to the ground, but the referee didn't think that he had the ball when his knee was on the ground. So that's a very fortunate situation for BC to not only not have that ball whistled dead in the backfield, but to get the first down, and they're inside the 40-yard line.
For a couple of carries and 27 yards in his 2 runs. He'll pitch it out right side. Menden, nice open field tackle by Reed Gunderson, the junior linebacker and fullback.
And so far, the gain of a couple, but this has been a pretty nice possession for BC. I think it's a, it was a good call by the coaching staff to make the change at the quarterback, do something a little bit different, to maybe catch the defense a little bit flat-footed with the difference between Gabor and Whaley, and see what happens, and it's worked pretty well.
Gabor keeping and wrapped up and goes down at the 41-yard line. Good penetration into the backfield by Teray Graves. Had help from Max Buffy. And a loss back to the 41-yard line. A loss of 5, maybe 6 yards on the play.
Yeah, that was well played by Graves. He's had a good game on both sides of the ball so far, and that's a big play for the defense. Force a third and about 13 or 14.
Coach Eugene hoping his defense can come through here as we wind down to 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. Centaurs with a third down, and they're going to take a timeout.
Right. Whaley was back in the backfield as the quarterback. A little bit of a confusion as to where everybody was supposed to line up. I think we had 6 guys in the backfield, which usually doesn't work very well when you have to have 7 on the line. So you got 13 out there, 6 in the backfield, 7 on the line works, but that gives you other problems.
There's Adam Flanders, defensive coordinator, Minneapolis guy himself at South High School.
And Coach Flanders is an energetic guy. I was watching him during the warm-ups and everything like that. He's very energetic, high volume, high excitement kind of a guy.
Well, the timeout again, third down and long for Brooklyn Center, just outside the Roosevelt 40. Whaley and Gabor both right there. See who the snap comes to. It is to Gabor. We get a flag down.
That would tell me somebody was in the neutral zone because it was thrown before the snap. So if there was a neutral zone violation, somebody lined up in the neutral zone. Neutral zone violation by the offense. That backs them up 5 more yards. So now a couple of little mistakes have pushed BC now to a third and about 20 when they were at third and 7 or third and 8. So it's
they were 2nd and 8 after the first play.
2nd and 8. So so now they're third and about 20. So they've really not been able to sustain what they started in the first part of this possession.
Gabor Has time to throw. It's going downfield. Got it open, and it's a touchdown for Brooklyn Center. And BC is on the board. A 47-yard scoring strike to Danny Tukar.
And that's a great example of the receiver just keeping running. He didn't try to come back and make a big play on the ball, just ran under it, beat the defender cold, catches the ball in the open spot and runs into the end zone. That was a perfectly executed fly route or go route that it was connected on, and a nice ball by quarterback Wiley, doing a nice job there. Not Wiley, it was Gabor. Sorry. Yeah.
Dead ball foul on Brooklyn Center for excessive celebration. So it doesn't wipe out the touchdown.
No, but
it makes it for a extremely long extra point, Bill.
Well, yeah.
Or they're going to put it assessed on the kickoff, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like it'll. Yeah, it looks like it'll be assessed on the kickoff. So that will give Roosevelt automatically better field position than they might normally have had.
Tukar to try the extra point, and kick is up, and it is through. That's 12-7.
So here we'll take a look. Some pressure, but well protected. Gabor is able to step in. You see that the receiver did a nice job of reading the ball and staying moving and running. And the D-back just was caught short, not able to keep up. Dio Toussaint was struggling a little bit there to keep up, and nicely done, nicely executed. Now they're going to be kicking off from their own 25-yard line now.
One more look at it, and time for Gabor to throw, Bill, and to be able to step up and step into that throw.
Yep.
I don't know if that was the celebration. It didn't seem like much like to me, unless there was more that we didn't see. Tukar gets the touchdown and the extra points. Well, 7 points for that young man, the senior.
And now BC has exceeded their scoring for the first 2 games.
Yep. 1 touchdown against Roosevelt in week 1, shut out by North.
And now this is, this is one of the things we were wondering is what was going to happen with the back and forth in this game, and it looked like, Roosevelt might be able to take control of it, but BC has wrestled it back. A little bit of momentum coming back to BC.
High kick that will be the free ball. It's going to be picked up.
Pick it up. Eesh.
On kickoff, that's a free ball. Brooklyn Center had gotten on it. That would have been a fumble. It's not a punt. It's a kickoff, and Roosevelt gets much worse field position than they really should have had.
Well, that was almost a disaster for Roosevelt, because I can't believe that the BC guys stopped and looked at it too. And it's like, no, the ball is live. You gotta go after it. Sometimes a short kick like that can be an advantage. You watch here where this ball hits, boom, and it just dies. And,
man.
Yeah, and
Wiley had a chance at it for Brooklyn Center,
yeah,
and it was
Gundy that
Burton for Roosevelt that was looking at it.
Yeah.
Pitch goes back. This is Strickling on the first down run. Got bumped out at the 32 after pickup of 3.
Well, we saw Coach Flanders for Roosevelt all the way down the sideline, exhorting his guys to get on the football on that kickoff. Not a bad opening play there. Option pitch, 2nd and about 5. Looked like he gained a little bit more than looked like right out of the gate there.
That's Gundy in motion. Hannah will give it to him straight up the middle. He's got a first down and on his feet all the way out to the 45-yard line. Gain of 11.
And this the interior line, the 5 inside guys for Roosevelt have a distinct size advantage over the Brooklyn center guys, both height and weight. And their inside running game, if their offensive line will just step to the point of attack, square their shoulders in the line of scrimmage and run, they can open up a lot of holes, because it not taking a whole lot of effort to push the smaller BC guys out of the way.
3 receivers to the right on first down and 10 from the 45. Hannah will pitch it back to Gunderson, and he fumbles the football back to the 37. Gunderson's fumbled 3 times tonight. The first 2 lost. Gets back on this one, but it's a loss on the play for Roosevelt of 7 yards.
Yeah, it's Gunderson got to watch the ball all the way until he has control of it. He took his eyes off the ball just as it hit his hands, and you don't see the football. It goes right to the floor, and then that pointy-ended thing bounces weird ways. He's lucky to get on it.
Second down and 17 for the Teddies from their 38. They've got the lead 12-7. We're inside of 4 minutes to play in the first half. Hannah, quick drop and throw, and incomplete. Gundy, the intended receiver.
And you don't see Gundy drop it too much, but there was a nice defensive play right there. Is that by 55?
That's Gibson.
Yeah.
Dylan Gibson.
Dylan Gibson does a nice job. I don't know if he got it. He maybe got even just a finger on it, just enough to disrupt the flight of the ball, because you'd think that normally that would be a catchable ball, but that was a really good defensive play.
3rd and 17 for Roosevelt. Play action. They fake a Strickling. Big pressure, and down goes Hannah back at the 30-yard line.
Outstanding pressure by the Centaurs that time. They sent a couple of linebackers, outnumbered the offensive linemen there, and really you can see that 4 guys close in on Hannah before he can even set his feet. One of them being Chester Wiley. I didn't catch the numbers of everybody else, but there was pretty good effort on the flank.
Rufus Menden,
yep.
Excuse me, the first one to get there, and then Chester Whaley and Dylan Gibson in on the sack. Loss of 5, and Roosevelt will punt for the first time tonight. Barbosa, high kick, and it takes a Teddy's bounce. Almost touched by BC, but it was not, and then be down by Roosevelt at the 37.
Well, the Centaurs are going to get decent field position here. They've got enough time, 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock to run their offense. Based on their last possession, they're gonna be thinking, hey, we get a score now, we go to lead it by 1 or by 2 at halftime.
First and 10 from the 37. Gabor remains in the quarterback. That pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Teray Graves. Be second down and 10.
Another pretty good play by Graves, coming right up there, timing his leap and getting his hands into the passing lane, forcing a 2nd and 10.
Force done a nice job, Bill, coming in at quarterback in relief of Whaley.
Yeah, and Whaley's done a nice job at his alternate position as the tight end H-back receiver type there.
Moore will throw the ball at the 40, the 45, and out of bounds to the 49. Goes Menden.
That's pretty nice play right there. Not the usual way you pitch on an option, but whatever gets the job done. But I was watching Chester Whaley there that time just to see what was going to happen with the tight end spot, and he gets into the secondary and made a huge block on one of the linebackers, and that really helped set that play up.
Gabor bouncing it outside, shakes a tackle to midfield, back inside, and has close to 10 yards.
That was a nice play. Graves just about had a shot at Gabor in the backfield for a big loss. As you see right there, nice block, but Graves misses Gabor. Gabor does a nice job of getting back inside, getting a 9-yard gain. Really nice block by Tyler Miller right there at the point of attack.
Inside of 2 minutes to go now, and a second down and short for BC, just outside the Roosevelt 40-yard line. Gabor will hand off. It'll be a first down run. Gain of 3 by Menden on his 8th carry of the game.
Menden's been fairly consistent too. He's had, what did you say, 8 carries, John, but he's been fairly consistent. He's had one rush for a loss, but that was when he slipped.
From the 39, a minute and a half to go. Centaurs looking to take the lead. Gabor throwing it out to his left and almost intercepted. Boy, gonna floated it a little bit, and that was almost picked off by Gundy.
And that's one you'd mentioned a few minutes ago. You see Gundy right here. He's timing his move right there, and just enough of a bump by the receiver. And he caught the ball right off the tip of his finger. It looked like he was holding his right hand there a little bit.
And Tukar, the intended receiver, got enough part of it to knock
that
Bundy
ball
off.
hit right off the tip of Gundy's finger. That's going to sting for a minute.
So he is out right now. Second down and 10. High snap, and Gabor lucky to get back on that. Graves was right in on top of him. If he doesn't react that quickly, Bill, that's a turnover.
Yes, it is. Roosevelt's calling it. You know, they're screaming for a turnover as it is. Watch Graves wrestle it away. He's got to wrestle harder. Graves got to want that ball a little bit more. If he'd have just yanked it away, Gabor would not have had it, and it would have been a turnover.
Timeout by Brooklyn Center. 53 seconds remaining. And they'll face a third, as you can see, 17 to go for a first down. Our next TV game next Friday night, Lake Conference game. I should say Lake Conference, and not Lake Conference anymore. There are 2 teams that are in the Lake Conference, but for football, everything is district now.
Right.
Wayzata playing at Minnetonka Friday night, September 11th. BC or Wayzata with a stiff test tonight, Bill. They're 2-0 in the season, going to Prior Lake, who's ranked in the top 5 in the state, in Class 6A. And
Prior Lake had a nice close victory over Minnetonka last week by about what, 25 or 30 points. And it's hard to beat Minnetonka by that much. So Prior Lake's, you know, for the second year in a row, Prior Lake looks to be for real, and they'll give Wayzata all they can handle, or vice versa. You know, you might think that Wayzata coming off of a little bit of a down season for them last year, playing much better football right now, that should be an interesting matchup.
So out of the Centaur timeout, face third and very long here. The board trying to get the Centaurs back downfield.
Once again, we either had somebody moving or somebody encroaching on the neutral zone. Looks like it's to be a procedure penalty against BC. you know, sometimes it's a good idea to go on a long snap count, but I think in tough situations, you want to get the ball snapped. Your guys are geeked up anyway. They know that they've got to get moving in a 3rd and long or 2nd and long situation. Now you're 3rd and very long. Yeah, you really don't want to take a chance with that. Get the snap count, you know, go on 1 or 2, but don't go on 4 or 5, because nobody's going to be moving at that point.
Gore on 3rd and very long will step up and run the ball, break a tackle in midfield, and can't get away from the second would-be tackler, and he's taken down by Dio Toussaint at the 42-yard line. It'll bring up 4th and 12.
So a nice run by Gabor to get the ball back in respectable field position, but it's still 4th and quite long with 28 seconds and counting. 28 seconds to go in the half. You see a nice block right there on Gunderson. Broken tackle. Gabor making another break tackle. Nice strong jersey as he's drugged down from behind by Toussaint.
Centaurs using their final timeout here with 28 seconds remaining in the half.
You know, for as hot and humid as it has been all day today, the breeze coming up from the southwest, bringing ostensibly a thunderstorm later in the game or after the game, has made the humidity significantly more tolerable, at least for me. I don't know how it is for the guys on the field, but
probably a little tougher for them than it is for us.
Probably, but that breeze is always nice. The breeze makes, you know, particularly when you're standing on the sideline, just makes it feel so much better.
So 4th and 13 for Brooklyn Center, looking to extend the drive with time running out here in the second quarter. Bohr wanting to throw, he's got time, he's going to air it out deep down the middle. He's got it. That's another touchdown for Brooklyn Center. Another 4th down pass. This time is Charles Wiley, and it's another Centaur TD.
Well, and that was another nicely thrown ball by Gabor. Wiley does a nice job of getting under it, beating the defense, and giving Centaurs, with 20 seconds to go in the half, their first lead, not only of the game, but of the season. And the change in momentum has been very startling here in the last 4 minutes of the half, John. Really,
no doubt.
You know, 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes, 2 big pass plays, 4th and forever, and making a play like that, that's a huge boost for both your offense and your defense.
Whaley, the holder for Tukar, left-footed boot up, and it is through, and it is 14-12, Brooklyn Center.
So the change of quarterbacks has worked very nicely for BC. We see Gabor getting plenty of time and able to step into the throw, and just a clean win for BC right there. Charles Wiley just making a nice move, a step outside and break up the seam and running free. That's a nice grab. I mean, sometimes when you're all by yourself and you know all you got to do is catch the ball. That's all you got to do is catch the ball. You guys think about it a second, they drop it. But he did a nice job of keeping everything together and running to where the ball was coming down. I love to see that. One of my biggest complaints as a coach was always, don't stop running. The ball's in the air. It's going to go where it's going to go. You got to run to get to where it's coming down. If you slow down, the ball isn't going to come and catch you.
So BC in the lead here late in the second quarter.
And after being down 12-0, come back in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter to take a lead. You know, that can be I don't want to say demoralizing, but certainly a deflating situation for the team that had the lead. Now you're back and you say, okay, geez, we gotta really scramble and get back in this thing.
Two-car to kick. And this will be fielded back inside the 20, or inside the 10, and back out to the 20, and returning it out to the 22 is Marquand Burton. And Roosevelt will have it there with just a few seconds left here in the half, 14 to be exact.
Well, there's two schools of thought, and when the ball's at this spot in the field with this point in the game and the way things have happened so far, one school says you go for broke and you throw the darn ball down the field. You try to get as big a play as you can. You try to do something to smack the guy right in the face. And the other school of thought is, you know, fine, we're down by 2 now. We've had control of the game. We made a couple of mistakes. We just take a knee and get out of here. We'll see what Roosevelt wants to do.
The handoff goes to Gunderson. Looks like they'll go with school number 2, Bill. And
looks like
handoff inside and played safe for a 3-yard gain.
Why the clock stopped? Sure. No.
A penalty prior to will wipe out that 3-yard run.
Yeah. I'm not sure why that was an illegal shift. You can move 2 or 3 guys at a time as long as they're set for 1 second. I didn't see anybody not set for a second after they shift. But my opinion doesn't matter. The guy in the white hat makes that decision.
1st and 15. Throw by Hannah to Burton. He's got it at the 40, 45, the 49.
2 seconds to
2
go.
seconds to go to try to move something upfield. So a gain of 31.
Boy, and a nice throw by Hannah. And a nice catch by Marquand Burton to get that big play and a nice run. He got a few yards after the catch, which was a really nicely done play.
I don't know, Bill, you've got the chance to put one up deep. Hope for some open field running for your receiver.
And again, one of the things that I like in this situation, you've gotten much better field position now. You've got half of the field to go. But with multiple receivers, you've got 3 receivers on one side, 1 on the other. And one of the things that I think is effective is to have different levels of guys to occupy the defense. Don't just send everybody deep.
4-man rush. Hannah is going to be sacked back at the 43-yard line to end of the first half. Tackle for loss. Marcus Holke gets the sack to end the half.
And then there's the school of thought there is tackle the guy before he throws the ball, and then you have to worry about it.
Menden and Holke on the sack, and that does end the first half, and we end at Brooklyn Center leading Bill 14-12, getting those 2 late scores there late in the second quarter to go up by 2. Roosevelt unable to complete their 2-point conversion try on the second touchdown.
Exactly.
And that kept them at 12, and Brooklyn Center with a couple of extra points from Tukar able to get it up to make it 14-12. Let's go back down to the sideline to Allie Arlt.
Thanks, guys. I have defensive coordinator and assistant head coach Adam Flanders here. Coach, defensively speaking, there's a bit of a momentum swing here at the end of the first half, but you guys had a lot of forced turnovers in that first. Talk about that.
You know, we practice that quite a bit, try to take away circuit a little bit, but we got to do a better job holding on to the ball ourselves, you know, and that's right now been a big part of the game, and it always is, turnovers, and we got to do a better job in the second half with that for sure.
What do you guys have to do offensively in the second half to get that first win of the season?
You know, again, control the ball, keep the ball on the ground, I think. I think we can smash mouth a little bit more, you know, and not put the ball in the air so much, but I definitely think bottom line, we just got to hold on to the ball. I mean, our fullback alone had 3 fumbles himself, and he's at 0 all season, so kind of some things going out of flux for us right now, but we'll get it turned around in the second half.
All right, good luck in the second, Coach.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Allie. And Coach Flanders, I think he's been yelling a little bit, Bill, on the sideline. What do you think? Based on his voice.
His voice sounding in mid-season form right there.
14-12, Brooklyn Center leads Roosevelt. Friday Night Football on Channel 12 continues after this timeout. We're back to Brooklyn Center High School in a moment.
An eating disorder feels like having another person inside your head. It kind of built this wall around me.
The main thing that we needed was hope.
Your age, your gender, your ethnicity. Eating disorders don't discriminate. They can strike anyone. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Lindsay, for example. Her first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. Right away, she received professional training and now has the tools and skills necessary to produce her own show. She's turning dreams into realities right from her own home. And best of all, she's sharing her passion with members of her community and beyond. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
Hey, you going out like that?
Yeah, why?
Well, what would the neighbors think?
I see you! Come look at Mr. Feather. Look what I have. Mr. Bird, remember? Bark, bark, bark. We're just playing. We're just playing on trying to get you out of here.
Even still.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think.
Billy! Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
My new mom and I have a lot in common.
The great outside.
We both love the outdoors.
It's so shiny.
That's not a flower. We both love geology.
Oh, look. An igneous one.
That's not a rock. And she knows a lot about wildlife.
A labradoodle.
That's not a dog. Hanging out has been kind of fun.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
There's our halftime score at Brooklyn Center High School tonight. The Centaurs leading Minneapolis Roosevelt 14-12. Look at our first half highlights and numbers from the opening half of play. And turnovers hurting Roosevelt early. Bill giving up the football, though the Centaurs unable to cash in on those turnovers. That one came inside their 10, or Brooklyn Center unable to score. And finally, Roosevelt able to get their offense in motion. That was another fumble, though recovered by Roosevelt on the run by Elijah Hanna, excuse me, and then Hanna able to get the completion on the touchdown pass, 15 yards to Trey Graves. To get Roosevelt on the board, they led 6-0 after a quarter. Interception by Roosevelt in the second quarter. That was by Tyreek Strickling. Roosevelt able to score. Big run up the middle by Ron Gundy. Gundy taking it in for Roosevelt on a 37-yard run. It's 12-0. They're unable to convert on either of their touchdowns with extra points, but then Brooklyn Center making a change at quarterback, bringing in Navia Gabor, who had been at receiver and came in, threw the ball very well, ended up throwing for a couple of touchdowns. You saw the run a moment ago, then the pass there for Danny Tukar to get the Centaurs on the board. He made the extra point to make it 12-7. And then the final 30 seconds of the half, great throw right on the money. And another touchdown for Brooklyn Center. Charles Wiley on that TD. As we look at the numbers for the first half, Roosevelt out rushing Brooklyn Center 91-43, but BC with the edge in passing and helped with those big two touchdown passes, 115-82. Total yards about even. Turnovers 2 for Roosevelt and 1 for Brooklyn Center. 3 penalties for Roosevelt for 20 yards, and Brooklyn Center 6 penalties for 30 yards.
You know, pretty even stats, pretty even game. So, you know, we're seeing momentum shifts here is what's really controlled, particularly in the second quarter after the Roosevelt touchdown. Looked like they were going to be able to take complete control of the game, and pretty much in the last 5 minutes of the half, BC wrestled it away from them with not only the first touchdown, but really that second touchdown was really a cap with only about 28 seconds to go in the half.
We mentioned at the top we've gone to a district play in Minnesota high school football. This is the Twin City District, the Blue Division. North is now 3-0. St. Agnes and Spectrum out of Elk River 1-1. Roosevelt, Brooklyn Center, Edison, and Humboldt all winless so far. In Section 4 3A, Brooklyn Center 0-2 in section play. Henry and St. Croix Lutheran, the top 2 teams so far. St. Croix Lutheran's had some strong teams, especially through the year. Bills will be interested to see who comes out of that section. Breck off to an 0-2 start.
And they're, you know, St. Croix Lutheran is consistently, particularly over the last 8-9 years, one of the better, when you say smaller programs. They've won a couple of 3A championships over the last several years and had some very, very good teams. And they don't look to be slowing down too much this year, with even with the change in from the conference, from the old Tri-Metro to now the districts.
We'll give the chance to look and see the districts in the first couple of weeks of play. I like the change so far. It seems like we've had, for the most part, more even matchups than sometimes you would get in conference play, depending on the conference and the strength of a program.
Absolutely, and I think particularly here at the, maybe not so much at the 6A level, but certainly at the 2 and 3A level, you're getting a whole lot of different types of competition, and teams that haven't played each other very much in the past playing each other now, and I'm like you, John. I really like it. I think it makes a more competitive regular season. The districts actually matter more than the old conferences did. Conference play a lot of times was more ego-driven than anything else, because if you had 3 or 4 different classes of schools in your conference, your overall record was more important, and actually the number of points you garnered during the season was more important than your conference record. So now I think with the district play, you've got a more direct connection between success and the regular season and where you're going to go into your seedings into the state tournament.
14-12, the Centaurs lead the Teddies at halftime. We'll take a break, come back with more of our coverage of high school football on 12 Sports after this timeout.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think. Billy!
Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
(14-12), Centaurs leading Roosevelt at halftime. Bill, Roosevelt out for the second half. Your thoughts on their play? Well, let's go first before your thoughts. Let's go back to Allie.
All right, Coach, a slow start for your team for the first half, but hey, 2 touchdowns in 5 minutes in the second, a big momentum shift for your team.
Well, our kids have the capability. It's just about finding the right time. And for us, that was the right time.
What do you guys do in the second half to keep that momentum going and take your first win of the season?
Well, we got to play defense, and we got to stop that number 2 and number 5 and number 44 and the rest of the Roosevelt team in order for us to have some success here.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks, Sally and Willie Finley. And Bill, I was starting to say your thoughts on Roosevelt and what they need to do in the second half.
Well, my thoughts here is that you've got a bigger, stronger offensive line. You've moved the ball well on the ground, and my belief is that I would like to come back out with a young team. Now we've been unsettled a little bit by giving up the 2 touchdowns. I would want to come back in and get going on the ground, get my linemen in gear, get those guys stepping in the right direction, coming off the ball, keep their feet moving, and get the ball in the hands of the guys that have carried you so far. It's kind of like Coach Finley said, we got to stop Gundy, we got to stop Elijah Hanna, we got to, but it all starts up front with those 5 guys up front.
And for Brooklyn Center, just continue building on the momentum, right? They really did a nice job with the Gabor at quarterback those last couple of drives.
Yeah, I would say, their identity kind of emerged there in that last 5-6 minutes of that half. They seemed to be going along okay. They weren't doing anything great. They sputtered here and there, and as soon as Gabor took over, the first play he had, he just grabbed the ball and ran with it. It looked like it was going to be a Wildcat thing, and they weren't going to make much of a change. Then all of a sudden he throws the ball and it goes downfield. The guy catches it and he's in the end zone, and now we've got a whole different situation. The defense was literally caught somewhat flat-footed there. They're expecting the big kid there, Chester Whaley, to be their quarterback, and he throws a nice ball and he does a good job, but he doesn't bring quite the same dimension that Gabor does, and that I think that change right in and of itself forced Roosevelt to have to make a change on the fly, which is very hard to do during a game. You know, now they've had a halftime to settle into it. They know what they got to do, but getting the ball, I always like getting the ball first in the second half, because then you see where everybody is.
I think for Roosevelt too, they look at a couple of possible interceptions, balls that were dropped that could have been,
Yeah.
one that was definitely dropped and one that was tipped and just not corralled on the second try there in the second quarter. That could have turned things for them.
Absolutely, and they've got to, and it's like Coach Flanders said, geez, we got to quit laying the ball on the floor. We had too many fumbles turned into turnovers. And those are, even though they didn't give up points from it, those are psychological, those are field position kinds of situations where, as a coach, you want your guys up on edge the whole time, and things that deflate you, like a turnover, it takes a couple more plays to get that edge back, to get that feel back. And you can see Coach Eugene there, he's telling his guys, don't worry about it. We're here. Let's go after it. And I think, my basic belief is, if I've got a better offensive line than the other guy's defensive line, I want to pound them until they force me to not do that.
Again, the Teddies will get the football to start the second half. Their leading rusher in the first half has been, as it has been the first couple of weeks, Ron Gundy at a 37-yard touchdown run. In all, Bill, though, he has 75 yards on just 5 carries.
That's pretty good average. And,
yeah.
If you follow that average, you extrapolate that average out over 20 carries, that turns out to be a pretty good total yardage.
We're about set for kickoff, and again, it would be BC to kick off.
Now, the question we'd ask, if you're the Roosevelt guys and you want to start to exploit your running game as the kind of undersized BC guys, what do you tell your guys if you're thinking that, hey, these guys are going to come back and they're going to want to run the ball on us? How are we going to counteract that?
All right, Teddy's return team is on the field, ready to receive this opening kickoff of the second half.
Kickoff returns were kind of an adventure for the
Yes,
Teddies
they were,
at the end of the
weren't they?
first half. Somebody standing around watching that ball, see if it was going to grow feet or something, and
back deep for for Roosevelt. Tyreek Strickling along with Tawan Williams, who's just a freshman. Danny Tukar got a couple extra points tonight. We'll kick off here for Brooklyn Center. High kick that'll be taken by Williams back at the 20-yard line, number 25. And out to the 27-yard line. The first touch on the ball tonight for the freshman. Charles Wiley, who had that touchdown catch at the end of the first half, gets the tackle on special teams here.
And here Williams, a long, lanky freshman at 6'2" and 150 pounds. One thing you like to have, and it's really hard for a young guy to learn that, is on a kickoff or a punt return, you make one move and you run to the goal line. And if they don't tackle, you score. If they do, fine, that's where we get the ball. But the more moves you make and the more you try to juke people, the harder you're going to get hit, because the more you slow down. So we see Gabor coming off the field. I don't know if that's a cramp or an injured ankle or leg, but he's walking like it was a cramp.
And we'll keep an eye on him, but that would be a big loss, Bill, if he's
Absolutely.
too seriously hurt here, with much as he did for that team's offense there late in the second quarter. So Roosevelt with the first possession of the second half, starting from their 27-yard line. And the give is to Gunderson, the fullback. He'll gain just a yard. Met at the line of scrimmage, and Ricky Canales with the tackle. It'll be second down and 10. You don't get anything really for Gunderson there.
Yeah. When you're a little bit undersized, the key I think to the defense is movement. You know, you've got to keep the blockers from being able to hook up squarely with the defenders, and that time Mejia Canales did a really nice job of knifing down and making the play at the line of scrimmage from an outside position.
Second down and 10. Hannah dropping, deeper drop now, rolling right, floats it to the sideline, had a man and it's dropped. Bernard Dixon would have had a first down for Roosevelt, but couldn't hang on to the football.
That was potentially a nice play right there. And again, a nice ball right on the money. Like you said, John, hit him right between the one. You know, that's a...
Let's go down to the field for an injury update. Allie?
Guys, we watched Gabor gingerly walk off the field, and we talked about it before the game. This this humidity after having a rest at halftime, just a left calf cramp. So they're using a little whirligig to work that calf out, but he should be back in momentarily.
All right, thanks very much. And good news for the Centaurs. Third down and 10 here for Roosevelt. Hannah, the throw, and it is tipped incomplete, almost intercepted. But incomplete defensively back there. Ricky Dunbar, an intended receiver for Roosevelt. Couldn't time his leap right. Dunbar almost.
Yeah, Dunbar made a nice play on that. But that ball floated on Hannah a little bit because he was not able to step completely into it because of the pressure. Got his hand under the ball and it floated on him a little bit, resulting in the incompletion. So now Barbosa will punt the ball away, and a quick 3 and out for BC.
With a bit of a rush, Barbosa able to get the kick away. Nobody covering it for Brooklyn Center, and a break for Roosevelt, and it goes down to the 37.
Pretty nice kick by Barbosa. Again, it's not going to win any beauty contest, but effectiveness is excellent when you get a 37, 38-yard kick with no return. Again, that's what you're looking for. It's not the big, high, beautiful punt. It's what's the net result, and changing field position is really an important aspect of how you manage the game. You know, they're not. Gabor is not ready to go back in the game. They're still working on him on the sideline, so that'll put Chester Whaley back in at the quarterback spot.
Whaley in the first half, 2 of 7 passing with an interception. Throws here on first down and skip the throw, incomplete. Closest to Roosevelt's Muhammad there, who almost had a pick in the first half.
Yeah, and that was again, Whaley has thrown the ball well tonight, and that was not a well thrown ball. He had a receiver on the short slant. The third receiver on that side, they went deep, middle, short, and the short receiver was cutting across, and he was open. All the ball had to do is just be delivered.
Second down and 10 from the 37. Inside give, broken tackle, and more, and a first down for Brooklyn Center. Now to near the 49, best run of the night for Rufus Menden, the junior. Picks up a dozen-yard build. They're almost at midfield.
It was a nice run by Rufus Menden after getting a good seam to run into. Breaks a couple of tackles and has pretty good speed to get up inside there and make something happen. Get first down just about at the midfield.
First and 10, just shy of midfield. Whaley will give it back to Menden again. Cutting it back, gets to midfield, breaks a tackle, gets away from another player, and makes it hard 3 yards out of that.
A hard 3 yards, but he made 2 or 3 really nice moves. He's just got a good sideways step that you can watch right there, and then he uses that massive 145, 150 pounds to smack somebody, and he ends up getting a couple extra yards, and most yards he got were after he was hit.
2nd down and 6. Whaley out of the shotgun. It's back again. The ball is fumbled. And getting it back on it was Menden at midfield, but he lost the yardage that they had picked up on 1st down.
Yep.
They're close to it. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
There's a good scare factor there, right, for Menden as he saw that ball bounce away and stretch out to cover it before Gunderson could cover it for Roosevelt. But that's a nice play for the Roosevelt defense to capitalize and force the negative play.
Third down and long for Brooklyn Center. Whaley has time to throw, steps up, delivers the throw to the 41-yard line. That's a completion to Wiley. It's right at the 1st down sticks.
Right at the line to gain. Looks like he's got just enough to make the 1st down.
I think they'd bring it out for a measurement.
Almost automatic.
What are they going to say? They're going to mark that.
Mark it and call it an incomplete pass. I'm not sure.
People saying Wiley doesn't have it all the way to the ground. Certainly looks like it there, Bill.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. And the call was made by the umpire turning and looking back. So it's I'm a little surprised. It looks like he controlled it, but he must have been bobbling it as he went to the ground, and the ball hit the ground before he completely controlled it. And he had his back to us, and we couldn't see the football.
So they'll punt it on 4th down. They'll take a bounce down to the 15-yard line. That's where Roosevelt will take it over.
We got a flag on the field, so there's a procedure, again, a procedure or encroachment penalty here at the line of scrimmage. Looks like the direction the flag was thrown is in the BC backfield, so one would think that it would be a false start or a procedure penalty of some variety against BC. And Roosevelt may have the choice of taking the play or the penalty, take the penalty and re-kick, or take the play and get the ball.
You think, yes, you'd take the opportunity to make them punt again, and get a chance for a return or maybe a poor kick. Yeah, Tukar has actually been pretty good tonight, but
or you get a chance to block the punt, you know.
So they will indeed take the penalty.
Yeah, the kicking game is so problematic. I mean, there's so many variables in the kicking game. I think when you can force somebody to do something that is challenging a second time, you got a chance for success, and you got a chance for better field position. And again, from a coaching point of view, one of the things that drives me nuts is when guys won't catch the ball. Punts and kickoffs need to be caught.
Tukar, another good kick. This will bounce at 21. Not going to end up much different than what BC or Roosevelt had before. It's down at the 18 by Maurice McFarland, and that's where Roosevelt will take over. So.
Yeah, with much better punt that time. Got much better loft on it, but still the return guy's got to know where the ball's coming down. You've got to know where the, what's the guy's distance, where should you line up, and then get under the ball and catch it. Even if you have to fair catch it, it doesn't matter. You want to get something going. I've seen teams consistently lose 15, 20 yards on a punt just because they don't catch it.
And under center, Roosevelt inside their 20 here in the third quarter, trailing 14-12 after they had a 12-0 lead. Breaking a tackle, but still only getting back to the line of scrimmage is Dixon. Well read by Brooklyn center. A lot of purple jerseys in on the stop. Holke there along with Mija Canales again. Second down and 10 for Roosevelt. You talked about the program struggles for Minneapolis Roosevelt, having to stop play briefly for a few years ago. But you got to go back to 2007 to find their last winning season. It's been a struggle, definitely. You get more than a win or two, or even that some seasons.
Yep.
Trying to break that trend and trying to get into the win column tonight. Brooklyn Center has come back, and they're playing well now on defense, starting to wrap up, Bill, and make the plays on defense. This time it's Strickling on the carry, and he doesn't get much.
No, and you can see that they're doing a good job. Coach Finley said he was hoping that they would be able to use their speed and quickness to pursue to the ball and get 3 or 4 people to the ball. In the first half, they weren't as successful with that, but in the second half now, in these 2 possessions by the Teddies, they've been able to pursue to the ball and force now a second, 3rd and long situation.
3rd down and 8. Short drop throw and an incompletion. Receiver slipping a little bit, and now maybe cramping up, as well as Graves, the intended receiver, grabbing his calf. And it'll be 4th down for Roosevelt.
And Graves has been a key player for Roosevelt tonight. I don't know if he was seemingly in a fair amount of pain. He pops up and walks off the field.
So it'll be 4th down for Roosevelt. Barbosa will have to punt again here. Next week, Roosevelt will be home to play St. Paul Humboldt, a 5 o'clock game. And that's Spectrum in week 5. And then they close with 3 Minneapolis schools. They take on North on the 25th. And then at Washburn on the 2nd, and at Minneapolis Edison on Friday, October 9th. Centaurs will be at Edison next Friday, also a 5 o'clock start. And then they close with 3 of their final 4 games here at Brooklyn Center. St. Agnes on the 18th, St. Anthony on the 25th, at St. Paul Humboldt on Friday afternoon the 2nd, and then they will host Spectrum in their regular season finale Friday, October 9th. Snap, bounce back to Barbosa, who does get it away. Line driver hits at the 45. Was that touched by BC? I don't think so. It was very. Oh yes, it was. It was touched by a Centaur, and it's a Roosevelt football. When as Montgomery got on it for Minneapolis Roosevelt, you can see, first of all, he's lucky to get it off just under the hands of Chester Whaley, who was coming in.
That out there. It hit his heel. It hit the heel of the return man, and heads up play by Roosevelt.
So Montgomery gets on the ball as, it looks like it came off of Tyler Miller. He was claiming it didn't, but of course you're always going to say that after
absolutely
it didn't hit me.
And then again, what have we talked about the entire night about fielding punts? Is it if you field the darn thing, that doesn't happen.
So break for Roosevelt, 1st down and 10 at the 37 of Brooklyn Center. After they almost get it blocked. They end up recovering the football. Hannah will pitch it back. Strickling. And again, the Centaurs there. And they very little doing for Strickling and Roosevelt. Tackle by Gabor and Gibson.
And I've noticed I have not seen in this half the return of Gundy. He hurt his hand on a pass breakup in the second quarter and have not seen him on the field since then. I don't know if he hurt a hand or finger worse than what appeared to be right at the moment of the play, but we have not seen him, and he's a key part of that offense.
Right. 2nd down and 10. Play action wide open, and then an incomplete pass. Graves unable to corral the ball. Oh.
I think that was one where Graves was looking to see where that free safety was, whether he was going to get popped or not.
3rd and 10.
That was a nice throw by Hannah, and Graves kind of alligator armed it a little bit.
Under 6 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Graves has a touchdown catch tonight. On 3rd and long for the Teddies. Hannah back to throw. He'll go that way to Graves again. Makes the catch. Sidesteps one guy and gets a 1st down, Bill. And a good catch. And run after catch for a few yards, but enough effort to get that 1st down to the 25 and again at 13.
Yeah, Graves has been a favorite target of Hannah tonight, again, because of his size, and he does get after the football. Right there, makes a nice move, gets 1 step, a lunge, 1st down.
Miller on the tackle for Brooklyn Center. A new set of downs for the Teddies. 25-yard line now for Roosevelt. Driving as they look to retake the lead. That's Dixon in motion. Hannah will keep the ball, and he'll be lucky to get to the line of scrimmage. Centaurs stayed at home, Bill. Read
Yes,
the option, and Hannah wrapped up for no gain.
You know, without Gundy in there in the offense to provide the dynamic play, somebody's going to have to step up now. Again, one of the challenges with a program like Roosevelt is they're not used to having, you know, you got one guy that steps up and play, or 2 or 3 guys, that's fine. But if those guys are not there, who's going to step up and play? Somebody's going to have to step up and make a couple of plays if they're going to be successful the rest of the night.
Hannah on 2nd down and 10. And a good hole up the middle. Dixon breaking a tackle inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for the Teddies. Miller on the tackle, but Bernard Dixon gains 17 yards, and he's down to the 8 of Brooklyn Center.
A nice run by Bernard Dixon, a nice hole by the offensive line. And that's the kind of play I was just talking about. Now, Bernard Dixon needs to say, shoot. I break one more tackle, I'm in the end zone. Now it's not a 17-yard play, then it becomes a 20-yard play, and we have really something really going on there.
They'll give it to him again. He's down to the 5, still fighting his way down to the 4, maybe the 3-yard line. Good hard inside run that time by Dixon. 2nd and goal from the 3.
Yeah, Bernard Dixon, a little bit taller, a little bit rangier guy than Gundy, but you know, showing some decent wheels and, you know, a little bit of power. You know, drive the ball in the end zone.
Whistle. You know, officials timeout.
It might be one of the, again, another hydrate the players type of a timeout by the official. Credit the officials. They're paying attention to the players and making sure everybody is healthy and taken care of properly.
Hannah will keep it on 2nd and goal, driving to the end zone. No signal yet. He's very close if he's not in. Either in and he's not. There's no signal either way. Now the signal
half
3rd
his
down.
body in the end zone, but they're marking him just inside the 1-yard line. We get to take a look here. See where the ball ends up. There you go. Just inside the 1-yard line, just like I thought.
3rd and goal, ball nearly on the goal line for the Teddies. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Hanna keeps it himself, and there he goes into the end zone, a touchdown. Elijah Hanna into the end zone, and Roosevelt back in the lead.
Well, taking advantage of the turnover by BC on the mishandled punt. Actually not mishandled, but unfortunate bounce on the punt, and Roosevelt, to their credit, takes advantage of it. They've got a two-point play ready to go here. Hanna showing some last two plays. Hanna showing some good leg drive, get the ball to the goal line, and then on the second play get it into the end zone. Are you going to throw the ball, or are you going to hand it off here, John? What do you do?
I think you're going to throw it. Hanna from the 3, quick throw and drop. Incomplete. Intended receiver was Strickland, couldn't hang on. Pass fails, and it's 18-14.
Here we see Hanna doing a nice job taking an adjustment step to his right and then driving straight forward into the end zone. Nice quarterback sneak by Elijah Hanna. Actually a nice throw on the 2-point conversion. That's the second or third time where he's had a wide open receiver get his hands crossed up and not hang on to the football. 18-14. Now you get into some interesting scoring territory here, John, with the point differential now. It's 4 points. So, you know, a BC touchdown and extra point now makes a 3-point difference, which is starting to, you know, that begins to get out of hand. Roosevelt, on the other hand, doesn't have a comfortable enough lead. They don't have a touchdown lead now. So in order for them to get a comfortable lead, they've got to get one more score without giving one up.
Well, the sun has gone down, Bill, but still warm evening. 86 degrees now at just about 9 o'clock.
We'll see Daniel Barbosa. Barbosa's done a pretty good job kicking tonight. That last punt, you know, he just line drived it out there. He just got the ball away, and boy, all of a sudden with one bounce, Roosevelt gets the ball back. He's had a couple of really nice kickoffs today, forced BC not to be able to return it.
Barbosa's kick here will bounce and get past the return man, who picked up back at the 8-yard line. Roosevelt covering well and bringing down at the 15. Dixon with the tackle. So the Roosevelt special teams, Bill, making the play that time. He gets BC's offense back inside the 20.
Absolutely, and very good coverage. Kick the ball, and then again, don't handle the kick. Bad things happen. You get under the ball, handle it, and make the play. One of the things that on a kickoff return, usually even with two guys in the back, you designate one guy. You're the guy that you decide who catches the ball. Is it you or me? And you decide. You don't just let it bounce down there.
Whaley remains in at quarterback. Handoff to Menden, who bounces outside the 15-yard line down to the 19. Gain of 4 on first down. Menden with the dozen carries tonight. The longest 12 yards. This one picks up 4.
Pretty nice run by Menden. Menden's proving to be a pretty durable back here. He's had a kind of a mixed bag. He's had a couple of negatives, and he's had a couple of pretty good runs, but he's a very durable back.
Menden, big hole up the middle. Look, he's in the clear to midfield. To the 20, and caught from behind down at the 5-yard line. A flag down at the end of the play, but a terrific run by Menden of 79 yards.
By far the longest run of the game.
Excuse me, 74 yards.
74 yards, 79 would have probably put him in the end zone,
yep.
but pretty well done. We may have a horse collar call here at the end, but I did not see it. Let's see what the referee called. Personal foul, horse collar. Yep.
Well, look at the run. Look at that hole up the middle.
What a nice hole. People standing.
The linebacker, too.
And we'll see here. Pretty good rundown. Boy, that nice acceleration by. Oh, he did. He got not just the jersey, he got the shoulder pad. And that is a horse collar tackle. That's a dangerous play. And rightfully called. Half the distance to the goal, so it's 1st and goal from the 3. So just like that, John, we're back into a close ball game.
Whaley, the keeper, lunging over the goal line with the ball. Touchdown, Brooklyn Center. Chester Whaley, the quarterback, puts BC back in front.
Nice run by Whaley to get the ball in the end zone, but really capitalized from that nice run by Menden to set that thing up. And boy, big plays tonight have been the story for BC. 2 long passing plays and a huge run to get their scores on the board and retake the lead now at 20-18.
Let's go back to the field to Allie and another injury update.
Hey guys, we've talked about that absence of Gundy here in the second half, and he is absent from the sidelines. Word on the Roosevelt side is that Gundy is seeking medical attention and will not be coming back in this second half for Roosevelt.
So that finger injury was the thing.
Yeah, he was
dislocated or what, but something that's going to keep him out the rest of the night.
Yeah, that would have been my guess, that there was something there that was much more serious than what it appeared to be when he made the play. Because he made the play, you could tell he was feeling, but he went off the field and acted like he was going to be able to come right back in, and he has not. That's a big loss for Roosevelt, both offensively and defensively. He's a very good defensive back.
You got a Centaur player down about the 3-yard line. I can't see a number on that young man, so I'm not sure who that is.
And possibly another cramp.
Here's a look at the injured Centaur. It's Tommy Mason. Looks like he'll be okay, Bill.
Yep. He's walking rather gingerly on that left calf. As Allie said, the humidity is still quite high, and these guys have been playing hard. There's not a lot of substitutions. These guys, both teams, guys going both ways, so it's a challenge to stay hydrated and keep moving.
Whaley's the holder. Two-car looking for the extra point. Bounce to him. Two-car able to kick it through. Whaley, nice job to position it, spin the football, and get it down for his kicker to boot it through.
Well, Two-car doing a nice job of kicking extra points tonight. Well, and we take a look here at the touchdown by Chester Whaley. Always nice to have a 6'4", 220-pound quarterback on that kind of a play. And now the gauntlet has been thrown back at Roosevelt. This is one of the things we're wondering, are we going to see? Are we going to see a tight ball game? What's going to happen? How are these teams going to handle the adversity? They're used to, their first 2 games, they're used to playing from behind. Now they've got to learn to play with a lead. Roosevelt both teams have struggled with it a little bit. Roosevelt has had the lead 2 or 3 different times. BC's had it twice now. And the back and forth will be for the rest of the game. The next 14 minutes and some odd seconds of the game, I think, are going to be really interesting to see who handles the success of being in the lead the longest.
Two-car getting ready to kick off again. Brooklyn Center up now by a field goal. Return game's been an adventure tonight, Bill,
yeah,
hasn't it?
Absolutely.
What this
for
one
both
brings.
teams.
Right.
Nope,
He
it's
handled
caught
it
anyway.
to 10. 20, 25, and upended at the 28-yard line is Strickling, excuse me.
When you see the difference between fielding the ball and accelerating upfield as compared to letting it bounce. Tyreek Strickling does a nice job. He outruns a couple of people. Ooh, gets an upended pretty good there. That was a nice hit. Don't know who the centaur was that did it, but it was a pretty nice hit on the lower part of Tyreek Strickling.
1st and 10 Roosevelt from its 28-yard line. Trailing now by 3 late in the 3rd quarter. Inside give out across the 30. Still going is Dixon. And a long run on the last drive. Helps set up a touchdown and picks up 5 here.
Pretty nice pickup by Dixon. Dixon's now picking up the slack from Gundy's absence, but I'd still like to see the offensive line move their feet a little bit more.
2nd down and 5. Play action. Hanna throwing downfield. Got a man open and dropped by Strickling. Whoa. We've had
too many of those.
Too many missed.
And Hanna takes a hit as he releases it, but you know, that was just like the kickoff that Strickling just caught. Well, that's a huge break for BC for Strickling to drop that for him, because that could have been a touchdown right there.
3rd and 5. And a throw over the middle for Graves off his hands and incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
And that was a tight window to throw that through, and I think Hanna did a nice job of putting the ball at a place where the only person that could grab it was Graves, and Graves got a hand on it, just wasn't able to bring it in. Now you're facing a tough 4th and 5 or 6, 4th and 6, and
they're going to punt it again, though.
Absolutely.
Still enough time where you're not going to go for it on 4th down at your inside. Your 35. It's not partially blocked. He just got it off. I thought there was maybe a hand that got on that ball.
Yeah.
Rolls out at the 49. So it might have been Whaley that got a hand in on it.
Whaley's played a pretty darn good game tonight on both sides of the ball. When you see him coming right up the middle there, and he just gets a little bit of a hand on it. And the protector, Rayshon Stanley, you cannot let the guy come to your inside. Let him into the inside. That's going to be right in the line of the punt. You don't want that to happen.
Centaurs 1st down and 10 at the Teddy's 49-yard line. They lead by 3. 1:18 to go in the quarter. Whaley a handoff. And they had a big 75-yard run that set up the Whaley touchdown on the last drive. Picks up 3 here. Strickling on the tackle.
A nice tackle by Tyreek Strickling. But it seems that BC has decided, well, our running game is gonna fly or not with on the feet of Menden, and Roosevelt's gonna have to step up and stop that play. They're running that isolation play or that lead play very nicely.
2nd down and 6. Inside give, Menden another big hole. He's got a 1st down and more inside the 30-yard line down to the 28-yard line. Tackled by Tusabon until another big run for Menden. And he picks up 17 yards. He's got 124 yards A lot of them here in the second half.
Menden doing a nice job. The blitz that time took the inside linebacker right out of the play, and guess where Menden went? Right where that linebacker was. And that's just an unfortunate. When you blitz linebackers, that's the chance you take. They might run into the play, they might run out of the play, and Menden took advantage of that hole.
Whaley will hand off, and the give. Menden will get the call again. He'll get about 3 yards.
That time the linebacker stayed at home, Gunderson, and made the play.
And that's the end of the third quarter. Our score, Brooklyn Center 21, Roosevelt 28. We're back with the fourth quarter of play. Our high school football game tonight on 12 Sports continues from BC after this.
The world is online, and we're all connected. While there's a lot to explore and discover, we each need to do our part to keep the internet safe. Cybersecurity starts with you. Learn how you can stay safe online at dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Minneapolis Roosevelt trailing Brooklyn Center here at BC 21-18. The Centaurs have come back to take the lead twice in this game. And they have the ball to start the fourth quarter. They face a second down and 8 yards. They're inside the 30-yard line now of the Teddies. Whaley, who came out as quarterback briefly in this first half, went back in the third quarter, and now, as I say that, now Gabor is back under center. And he'll give to Menden, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage if he's lucky. Hit first by Max Buffy, finished off by Trey Graves. No gain for Menden. It'll be 3rd down and 8 in his 17th carry tonight.
And you see who lined up at the fullback spot that time was Chester Whaley.
Yep.
He made a nice block. He's a good football player. Does a nice job. He's played several different positions on offense and several different positions on defense, so proving his versatility.
He's back in at the quarterback spot this time, switching from fullback. Gives to Menden. He gets down to the 25-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 5 to go. So, Bill, what do you call on 4th and 5? 25-yard line.
6-yard play.
Yeah. Every time.
Every time. This is one of the toughest distance. I mean, you know, any longer and you're going to automatically throw the ball. Any shorter, you might want to, you know, have a run or a play action pass. But, you know, any 5-yard, 5-6-yard is a tough call.
They're going to go with the throw, and it's in the end zone, but dropped by Wiley. Whaley to Wiley, and Wiley couldn't come down with this one. Had a touchdown catch earlier in the game, but couldn't haul this one in. We'll take one more look at it.
Boy, talk about called the right play. Just called the touchdown pass. Wiley just didn't hang on to it. He was in the right spot. The ball was in the right spot. His hands were there. They just didn't work together with the football to bring it all together.
So Roosevelt able to hold, and they get the ball back early here in the fourth quarter, trailing by 3. They start at their own 25-yard line. Elijah Hanna, 8 of 16 passing tonight with a touchdown. He'll go back to throw on first down, gets hit, and down he goes. Football comes out. Buffy trying to scramble for it for Roosevelt with a lot of purple shirts there. They may have gotten on the football.
That's it. That was a That was called it second down. All right. Scrappy, but boy, that's the third or fourth time that Hannah has just been lit up trying to throw the ball. Right there.
It's Menden.
Boy, Menden just almost took it out of his hand. Underneath the scramble there, evidently a white jersey was able to control it. But now we're second and 20, 18 or 20.
Fourth time that Hannah has been sacked in the game. The entire defense stepping up, doing a good job. Hannah stepping away from pressure here and misses his receiver. And he hits Strickling out of 35. It'll be third and long.
Boy, and he had Strickling on the delay circle route up there all by himself. That was really and clearly the worst ball that Hannah has thrown tonight. That one just wasn't even close, and he's been on target pretty much all night. And boy, that was a nice play call. That was a nice pattern to clear the zone and have a second guy coming into the zone that was just cleared. But you got to make the play.
Third down and long. Hannah, short drop. Airing it out. Graves jumping up for it and incomplete. Well covered by the Centaurs, by Ricky Dunbar. Graves unable to come up with it. It's fourth down.
Yeah, Ricky Dunbar making a nice play. Because Graves has made that play over Dunbar for a touchdown tonight. Dunbar stuck with it. And I think even if he would have caught it, it would have been tough for Graves to get 1 foot in bounds. But well played defensively. Now force a punt. So after your own fourth down fails, you get the ball right back on a 3 and out.
Barbosa's kick. This time takes a BC bounce. Two Teddies run into each other, downing it. It'll be Brooklyn Center football at the 38-yard line after a kick of just 13 yards.
Yeah, Barbosa's punt did not travel well that time. 13 yards. Good field position for BC. Got a chance to maybe not put this game away, but certainly put it in a position where Roosevelt's going to feel the pinch. If Roosevelt's defense steps up and makes the plays here now, you know, and they get the ball back on a 3 and out, then they can get back into the ball game and make something happen.
Low snap and really able to pick it up. Hands off to Menden. Gets a couple yards down to the 36-yard line.
Pretty good tackle on the line of scrimmage by Nick Hastings, a big defensive tackle for Roosevelt. Gain of about 2 or 3. I think even with a short lead like BC has now with the ball in Teddy territory, I think they'll stick to the ground game, see what they can do with Whaley and Menden in the backfield there.
And they'll give the ball to Menden, and it's a nice block. 25, trying to keep his feet inbounds down the sideline, gets inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line.
Just really nicely run here by Menden, and good hustle there by Bernard Dixon to get over and make the play. Number 20, Dio Toussaint, was a little bit flat-footed there as he tried to make the play on the sideline, and Menden went right around him.
Rufus Menden now 20 carries, 149 yards.
Big game for him. How did he go around that defender? Like a fate pain passes a bum.
That's a good modern phrase, Phil.
Yeah.
Outside run. This is to the end zone. Touchdown from Miller. Tyler Miller with the score. 18 yards. Brooklyn Center. He's got a 2-score lead now at 27-18.
That's a huge huge possession for BC. They've changed the momentum of the game. They've been in control of things now most of the second half. And that's, I don't know if that's the final nail in the coffin, but now the seeds of doubt are completely sown in the minds of the Roosevelt players that, well, here we go again. We played pretty well for most of the game, and now it's looking like we're struggling again. And you know, again, this is where you got to have somebody step up and make plays.
Tukar for the extra point. Kick is up and through. He's 4 for 4 in extra points tonight, and it's 28 to 18.
So we see a nice move right there. Gets around Graves, uses his speed to get around the defensive back who cannot make the play. Graves just not in position to make the play, and he's made some big plays defensively tonight, just not that one. That one was just not one of them. But great run by Miller. He does a nice job of using his foot speed to get in and out of the positioning for the tacklers and makes them miss. So a 10-point lead now for BC. As you said, John, this is now obviously a 2-score situation, and 8 minutes and 32 seconds to go in the game. Yeah, Roosevelt will probably get the ball twice more, maybe a third time, depending on what shakes out. But they need to get down the field now, and I'm still a little bit surprised that they're throwing the ball like they are and not just lining up and putting a grind on it. But maybe they're just not ready to to grind. I don't know. They're the defense for BC, the run defense for BC has stepped up pretty nicely here in the fourth quarter. So maybe they feel like, well, we're not getting off the ball, we're not running the ball, we get 1 or 2 yards. We can't do that down the field.
Tukar with the kick. We get whistles.
Offside.
It's going to come back against BC.
You can see that Tukar is pretty well. He's pretty well pumped up. He's 4 for 4 on field. He's made some other good plays in the game. That was by far his best kickoff of the night. Get a little adrenaline going, you can bang the ball all the way downfield.
Yeah, their first touchdown on the long touchdown catch from Gabor. That one was just practice, Bill. This one.
Okay, this is the real one, all right.
It's a good leg into it again.
Yeah.
Drives the returner back to the 10. And out to the 25 is as far as Roosevelt's Montgomery gets. Though the Teddy's offense with some work to do, they need 2 scores in under 8.5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, pretty nice return, but the return man's got to run to the goal line. As soon as you turn sideways, you're dead. You know, that's he as soon as he turned his hips parallel to the field of play, he was dead and didn't gain another yard. Ran a ways, he just didn't gain another yard.
Dunbar on the tackle. First down and 10 Teddies from their 26. Hanna giving, and a short run up the middle. Gunderson on the carry, brings it out to the 30. Gain of 3.
Not a bad gain on first down. Give the ball inside. Been a while since Gunderson touched the ball on offense. It's always good to show a little bit of confidence, giving the ball to a guy who, had a little bit of a problem in the first half, has done very well, played both sides of the ball, done a pretty good job tonight, but Now you've got to push the ball upfield.
Dixon in motion. They give to Gunnarsson again, and ball is fumbled and recovered by Brooklyn center by Menden.
And that was not Gundersson's fault. That fumble was Menden's fault. He's right in the face, or not Menden. Who is it that made that place?
It might have been 69.
Yeah, Marcus Hulke. Boy, he was right there. Gunnarsson did not have a prayer on that one. That ball was on the floor before Gunnarsson ever got the ball from the quarterback. And that's a great play by Hulke. Geez, and Menden right there to make the play to cover the ball. Is that 4th turnover for Roosevelt tonight?
Centaurs get it on the fumble recovery by Menden. 25-yard line of Roosevelt. Give us to Menden. Another nice hole. 8, maybe 9 yards before he's tackled by Dixon. Menden's done a good job of running, Bill, but he's starting to get some holes from that offensive line that weren't there in the first half at all.
Yeah, they're moving people now. You see they're getting, the offensive linemen are getting their hips in the hole. They're getting squared up. They're moving their feet. And Menden's very agile. He finds that seam and gets in there, and he's got good enough speed to make it happen right now.
2nd and 1 after a gain of 9. Give to Menden again. Got a first down to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone. Menden, for all his work tonight, had not found the end zone, but he did there.
And we're seeing more arm tackle efforts and things like that from the Roosevelt defense. And that's a sign of fatigue, both physical and mental. And certainly Menden and the rest of the BC offense have taken advantage of that, particularly offensive line. Like I said, they're a little bit undersized compared to the Roosevelt guys, but they've done a nice job of getting after it.
So finally an unsuccessful extra point, but that touchdown was good by Menden.
Yeah, you see Menden right there, and just a couple of arm tackles as far as the effort. And you know, an arm tackle just isn't going to bring a running back down. And this is where the Roosevelt guys are not used to. They're not used to being able to play with a lead, so when things start to go against them, it's kind of like, well, more of the same. And that's the hardest mental part of it to overcome from a player and a coaching point of view.
So now a 34-18 lead for BC with 6:48 to go.
And I would say that now is probably the final nail in the coffin. Roosevelt's going to have a supreme effort in a lot of ways to come back and make this a ball game. And the first thing they got to do is get the ball in not good field position. They've got to get great field position. They've got to get an outstanding run back. They've got to play with a little bit more emotion there. You can see that they're just not playing with the level of energy that they need to have winning football.
Tukar's kick. I'm short on this one. It's going to go out of bounds.
That ball will come back out to the 35-yard line. Well, Tukar does it. You know, that's an ugly-looking kick, but you know what? Even though the ball is going to come to the 35-yard line, that's not great field position for Roosevelt. So they're not behind the 8 ball, but they're certainly not, you know, if they get a decent run back, you can get the ball out past the 40-yard line.
First and 10, Teddy's from the 35. All sorts of movement.
And who moved first? I believe it's going to go against Roosevelt for illegal procedure. Absolutely. False start.
First and 15 back to the 30.
And you can just, I don't know if you can see it or feel it, John, the energy level on the BC side is much higher than the energy level on the Roosevelt side. And that's gonna prevail unless Roosevelt changes it.
Hannah's throw incomplete. Intended for second down and 15 to go.
You know, Hannah's numbers throwing wise are going to come out pretty ugly tonight for a guy that's been pretty well above 50% for the first 2 games, but he's had so many passes dropped tonight that were just well thrown balls. It's hard to figure out exactly what was going on there, but
second and 15. Hannah to throw again and into some traffic there, and it looks like it's intercepted by Gabor. Did he get it? You know, signal. Looks like Gabor had the pick.
Absolutely. I'm going to say it's incomplete.
Graves, the intended receiver.
Nice, another nice ball bite. Oh my goodness.
Sure looks like he's got his hand under the ball all the way through, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, there was really not an official in position to see how the play was made, and we're lucky to have the replay of it. The officials do not, so it's that's fortunate for Roosevelt, but now it's third and long and somebody's moving again.
Game's getting a little sloppy, Bill.
Yeah, it's, you know, this is what happens when a team gets down on themselves. You know, they've made a couple of bad plays and they're down. False start. No.
Yeah, a couple penalties. Mark it back to the 20-yard line.
Well, Roosevelt, you know, just obviously digging themselves deeper into the hole.
Not first and 10, third and 20. The play coming, and the handoff goes to Dixon and gets 7, maybe 8 yards. It'll be fourth down. And although Roosevelt is inside their 30, well, they aren't going to go for it. They will indeed kick it away.
No, you're not going to, you know, but, you know, Dixon has proved this half to be a fairly decent, fairly durable runner. It's too bad they didn't try to exploit his capabilities a little bit more earlier in the half. But now at 4th and 18 or so, they're going to have to give the ball back up. And now it's going to be interesting to see how BC handles things.
Wayzata with a big win on the road tonight, Bill. Beating Prior Lake 24-17.
Nice win for
Wayzata. 3 wins all last year.
Yeah.
3-0 this year.
That's a nice turnaround for Wayzata, and a surprising win over a good Prior Lake team.
Kick away by Barbosa, and it'll be picked up back inside the 35-yard line, and a return out past the 40 to the 43 by Wiley. Those Centaurs now, Bill, just no turnovers.
No.
Keep the ball on the ground, keep that clock moving.
Keep the ball on the ground, keep it in the field of play, and really don't worry about much. You know, their players have to feel like they're in control. They've got good emotions still, and they, you know, really all they have to do is just line up and do their job, and they're in good shape.
Whaley from the shotgun will hand off. Slipping, but still getting positive yards. Out to the 44 is Menden. Man's going to sleep well tonight. He's been a busy
night. Yeah, he's going to be tuckered out a little bit. Yeah.
Been around the ball on the defensive side. Carried the ball 23 times now tonight.
You know, they've had some good plays by several, you know, really outstanding plays by several guys on the BC team here. Offensive line has come together nicely.
Another big hole for Menden, and he's got a first down inside Roosevelt territory down to the 47-yard line. Pickup of 8.
Nice one-on-one tackle by Rayshawn Stanley, but not until a first down is made. But Menden and Gabor, Whaley have all had major impacts today. You know, Whaley, we didn't see him do a whole lot. He's just done everything. He's been in, like, I think I counted 6 or 7 different positions he's played today.
On first down and 10, Menden will get inside the 45, the 44-yard line. And we see a heavy dose of number 11 the rest of the way, it looks like.
I think I would, you know, if I'm Coach Willie Finley, I'm handing the ball to Menden on that play. Right side, left side, right side, just back and forth, and just tell the offensive line, hey, grind it up, boys. Where are we going? We're coming right behind you, and we're not going to make any bones about it. They stack 10 guys in there. We're still going to run the ball there.
Second down and 6. They fake the handoff. Whaley keeps it and gets only about a yard this time. Gunderson on the tackle. It'll be third down, and still close to 6 to go for the first. How much fun, Bill, is this too if you're an offensive lineman and you know you're going to run the ball and you're doing well at it, and it kind of feeds off itself.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that's the only time that the offensive linemen really get the real rush and the joy of playing the game is when they do their job and they see that running back like Menden going for 8-9 yards at a crack, like right there. Now, that didn't look like much, but that's a nice dynamic play. A gain of about 7, but you know, and
193 yards unofficially for Menden now on 26 carries.
And again,
he's got about 170 of that after halftime.
Yes,
he didn't have very much in the first half.
Not at all. And I think again, if I'm Coach Finley, I'd be saying to Menden, I say, Rufus, don't worry about it. We're going to run you until you're so tired you can't breathe.
Brooklyn Center will take timeout. And they are 2:45 away from a nice win, Bill.
Yes. And a tough loss for Roosevelt. They had their opportunities to make things happen and take control of the game, and when they had the opportunity to take control of the game, they didn't. When they had the opportunity late here in the second half to get back into it. They didn't again, and that's really a learning process. It's one of the toughest learning processes in the development of a football program and the development of players, is for the players to get the attitude that we know how to play when we get on top. And it's a learning process, and you have to go through it, and sometimes you feel like you take a step sideways or take a step backwards before you really go forward. And then, you know, for Roosevelt, they've got to look on the bright side of what appears to be a rather dim evening, but there's some things here. This program is growing, and they've got to take some pride in it. For BC now, this is where you know, Coach Finley and his staff say, guys, this is the way we have meant to play all the time.
And Roosevelt's offside. There'll be a first down for BC. And Roosevelt, which played pretty clean in the first half, their penalties starting to pick up now.
And a lot of those penalties are more just, you know, fatigue related. I think physically fatigued, mentally fatigued too.
So, first down for Brooklyn Center. They are at the 33-yard line of Roosevelt. Whaley will give Demendon again in a couple of yards. But again, Bill, like we talked about, just keep moving forward, keep the clock moving. Positive runs.
About two and a half minutes remaining in the game, and means you got to run about 4 more plays, let the clock run. Even if you take a delay, it's not going to hurt you. You know, the game was over about 3-4 minutes ago.
On second down and 7 with just over 2 minutes to play. Give to Menden again. And he's down to the 25-yard line, very close to a first down. It'll be a yard shy.
Third and 1. Clock run. You go 1 more running play, get a first down, kneel down, call victory, and there you go.
Give is to Miller, and Miller will lose a little bit. There's a flag down in the backfield.
Could be it could be a face mask. Could be a hold. Personal foul, can be a face mask. And that's a point of the game where you're down to it. You know, your kids know you're lost. You don't want to be taking, you know, personal fouls, unsportsmanlike, things like that. Finish the game off with some class. Show that your program is growing. And even though you're frustrated at the loss, and it's your third in a row, you know, you got to learn to live with that part of it.
Brighter days ahead, I think, for Coach Eugene's program.
Yeah, and I think Coach Eugene has a good attitude about it. He says, hey, we're trying to build something here. It isn't going to happen in one day.
Maurice McFarland with the carry.
I guess Coach Finley did run Menden into the ground.
He ended the night, though, with 28 carries and 202 yards.
He's down here on the bench taking some deep breaths going, wow, what a night.
Second down, they'll give the ball. And it's Mihawk Canales with the carry.
Yeah, this is where, this is
second tonight. Excuse me.
That's a nice run by Canales, and you know, and I'm watching Gunderson make the last couple of plays here. He really put a smack on Canales that time, and stepped up and made the play. But that was the last play of the game.
Looks like they're going to take one more snap here. Maybe.
They don't have to.
And Brooklyn Center will win it. They trailed 12-0 in the first quarter. In the first half, Bill, and they come back and win it by a final score of 34-18.
Really nice, complete game by BC. Roosevelt showed a lot of brightness, a lot of spirit early in the game. Later in the game, as they realized the game was over, they kind of were flat. But really a positive step for BC tonight. Gee, they really, they hadn't scored very many points. They only scored 6 points in their first 2 games, and now they get 34.
Well, and for Roosevelt, they wonder, wow, what if Ron Gundy had been healthy the whole game? Because him going out certainly made a difference.
Yeah, that was not a
on
help.
both sides of the ball, especially on offense, the way he was able to pick up yards in that first half. Had 5 carries for 75 yards and a touchdown, but he went out with the injury, did not return. And Brooklyn Center gets some great line play, Bill, I thought, on both sides of the ball in that second half. Really controlled the line of scrimmage, able to run the ball at will in the second half, and at the same time control Roosevelt's offense for the most part after halftime. We're going to go down to the field now. Allie Arlt celebrating with one of the exhausted Centaurs, I believe. Allie?
Exhausted he is. Coming into tonight, you guys had played 2 games and you guys had only scored 6 points. 34 points on the board tonight. What changed for your team?
We just been working hard in practice. Coach been pushing us. We just been out here in practice working. All we been working on is offense, how to run plays, how to run plays. Coach has been working us. So that's what we came out here to do today. Just be consistent with our offense and just keep pushing the ball, getting our O-line ready, just keep pushing that ball.
You played 5 or 6, maybe even more different positions out here tonight. How do you keep all of those straight?
I just try to condition in practice, just try to do what the coaches want me to do, just work hard for my team.
You had over 200 yards tonight. Finally got that touchdown in the 4th quarter, but you had one run for 74 yards. Walk us through that play.
The O-line. My O-line did a hell of a block. He down block, and I just hit the hole, and I just thank God.
You guys had 5 touchdowns tonight by 5 different players. What does that say about your team and that change offensively?
We got playmakers. We just out here moving the ball around. Got playmakers. If I'm tired, we got Tyler Miller right there, running back, just right there when I'm always tired.
Hey, I totally get it. I'm tired watching you out there. You guys got your first win of the season. That's got to feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
For real, it feels real good to get this one win, but we still got a whole season ahead of us. We just take it one game by one game. We just got to keep working hard.
Go celebrate with your team.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
Thanks, Allie. Nice job tonight. Rufus Menden, who his eyes open when he found out he had 200 yards, 202 yards on 28 carries for our air count, a touchdown run of 16 yards. And as Allie mentioned, spreading the wealth, so to speak, on offense, getting 5 different players to get into the end zone tonight. Heck of a game by Menden. Whaley played well. Gabor, with the big shot in the arm he gave offensively at quarterback. And as Menden mentioned, the line play really making a difference on both sides of the ball, especially in offense, and allowing Menden to be able to get through for a lot of yards.
Absolutely. The offensive and defensive lines got better as the game went along. And so they didn't play very well in the first quarter, but they got better in the second, got better in the third, and got better in the fourth. And that's what a coaching staff is really looking for from their team. But it's nice to see a key part of that team work together as a unit. The offensive and defensive lines can work together. You're going to have some success.
Rufus Menden, 202 yards and a touchdown. Brooklyn Center gets its first win of the season. They bounce back from that shutout loss in North last week, and they win it tonight over Roosevelt, 34-18. They're at Edison next Friday. That'll do it for our telecast tonight. For Allie Arlt, Bill Hunstock, and all of our crew, thanks for joining us on this hot Friday night in Brooklyn Center. The Centaurs win it over Roosevelt. They come back and beat Teddy's 34-18, our final. Good night from BC.